Hi guys, in this video I really wanted to talk to you a little bit about composition and about leading your viewer's eye around your painting by using pathways. When it comes to composition and your focal point, you really want your focal point to be in one of the four quarters of your painting. So here, 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 or here. In this painting I have it around about here. I often go for the upper left quarter of the painting. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I just feel it's just a very natural place for me to look. It can like play on that, so you don't necessarily have to be smack bang in the middle of this quarter and so on, but more like in that direction. For this piece, for instance, my focal point is around here, so the upper left, and I want to draw my viewer into the piece to find my little secret hidden key. This piece is called Secrets of Abundance, and I wanted everyone to find their way to the secret key, which is the secret to unlock the abundance in their life. Also, when it comes to other elements, I often hear people talking about the focal point and the focal point only. Also incorporate other aspects that guide the viewer to the focal point. So, you know, like, what do you call those people that are not the main actor, but the supporting actors? So for this painting, the supporting actor would be this fishy, the flower, and kind of this fish is like the main character, but the focal point isn't necessarily one exact image in this painting. The focal point is more an area of interest for this one, and so this guy would stand out the most. And when I'm talking about pathways to your focal point, or pathways through your painting to show them those really beautiful parts that you really want them to notice, you can create this by using images to direct. Now you can see that this fish here, he's coming from the side, and your view follows the fish up and into this area here. So, and you've also been pointed that way to the key that way. This flower is sitting pretty much on the key. We have these lily pads coming up to the key. The key is, in this situation, I guess, the focal point, but it's a hidden focal point, which is an interesting one. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's what I want the viewer to find, but I also want them to enjoy the journey. These lily pads, I feel like I wanted them in there, obviously, to accentuate the idea that this is a lily pond. But I didn't want them to take away from this area. And by punching up the contrast in here, the contrast here, the more detail in these areas, your eye kind of goes to here, but it also enjoys this area here. This is not a wasted space. We're enjoying the area. It's still a beautiful part of the painting, but we understand that this is where the party's happening, right? While I was creating this piece, I did come across the idea of maybe I want to kind of minimize this and send it back further. I decided it wasn't taking away from that enough that it was going to cause too much of a distraction. So I decided to leave it. I thought it added to the piece. But what also would have worked, if I wanted to push it back and make this really, really pop, I could have come through with a whitish colored glaze over the top. And so you'd still see these brush marks and these lily pads, but they would be pushed back, they'd be faded out, but you would still certainly see them. And that is an idea when you are wondering about resting space and you have these parts of your painting that you don't necessarily want to cover up, but you know that you need some more calmer areas in your painting. Glazing with like a light color, like a white, off-white, grey, something like that, or even darker colors, anything that will push areas back and create more of a cohesive color to the area, that will certainly help with your resting space within your painting. So you don't always necessarily have to like fully block it out with an opaque color. You don't have to like fully cover it. A lot of this is actually not fully covered, but yeah, I'm not sure whether it needs more. I don't think it needs more resting space. I think because these are quite large lily pads and large blocks of color, it kind of acts as a calming area for the eye around here, but there's still interest. So when I talk about, just popping back to direction or pathways, there is multiple pathways that you can enter and exit this painting, which creates this beautiful sense of freedom. The viewer can come and go as they please. We have obviously the entry point here. You can always come up through here to enter the painting and into the focal point here. You can also enter with these drips here. And when you enter, like for instance with these drips, you kind of go up and then you see these couple of dots and then you see the fish into the focal point, right? Even if you come here, focal point, here, focal point, here, focal point, here, focal point, exit out, exit out, exit out, exit out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there's multiple entries and exits, there's multiple paths that your eye can follow to the focal point, and it's all very dynamic and it's all very, like there's so much little pieces of interest. There's little gold dots here, there's visual texture, there's a lot going on here, but it creates this beautiful sense of balance. And some of these things weren't intentional. They just kind of it's part of the magic of creating, I guess. I also wanted to touch a little bit on in this video is about having sources to paint from. Now, some people are of the opinion that when you have a source photo that you're kind of stifling or taking out the ability for the expressiveness or the raw artistic flair to come through. And for me, in my opinion anyway, the artistic process and the actual creation of the painting itself is created when I'm creating my source photo. I paint mainly from source photos. Not very often do I not have a source photo at some stage throughout the painting. It might not always be at the beginning, but once I have an expressive background down, then I will then take that photo into a photo editing app, or my Pixlr is what I use to create my source photos, and I will add my imagery on top and have a plan of attack that way. I find having a source photo to guide me is really, really smart. And I say that because it is something that I can continually refer back to, so I don't get lost and have to do fix-ups, or kind of get lost in not sure land, or just I need direction. I need to know where I'm going with my painting, and a source photo really helps me stay on track, and is certainly room for creative expression and happy accidents and all that. So I am a big advocate of source photos. I think it's just a brilliant way to have a plan, and obviously you can deviate from your plan at any point, but then you can always come back to your plan and continue your piece, and it just helps push your piece through to the end, and knowing, it's just a good idea. It's just a good idea, in my opinion. It certainly helped me work faster, and it allows me to enjoy, because all the decisions are made. All the decisions, I've decided everything, where things are going to go, what they're going to look like, what the color is going to be like. It's all decided, and I can literally just paint and be expressive and just follow my plan. But like I said, not to the T. It just has to be, it's just like a general guide, and it also helps with creating that realistic look that you want to create on certain areas of your painting, in this style, of course, with the fish and lily pads and stuff like that. So I definitely think it's not a creative killer. I think it's a really helpful tool. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I would be so grateful to you, and happy creating.